Did you know that you have two different parts of your brain that are going to work every day, but one of them may be sabotaging you? One builds your future, the other one just puts out fires. But most sellers stay stuck in the one that's keeping them in the hamster wheel of being busy all the time, but not performing. Today, I'm going to teach you about these two different parts of your brain and how to turn on the side that's going to help you reach higher performance so that you can access it on purpose. Hi, I'm Amber Deibert. I'm a performance coach for enterprise sellers. I am so pumped that you're here. We're going to talk all about mindset. We're going to talk all about productivity. And this is one of the keys. Okay, let's talk about these two different brains. You have your higher brain, which is really your CEO brain, is how I like to think about it. And then you have your lower brain. And your lower brain, I like to think about, is the employee brain. Let me tell you the differences between these two parts of your brain. The higher brain is thinking about your future. It's planning. It knows what you need to do to reach your highest human potential. And then you have your lower brain. This is your more primitive brain. This is a part of your brain that's just scanning for risks all the time. It's got a negativity bias. It sees all the things that are going wrong, but it's the one that's engaged in the moment when you're getting work done. I like to talk about the difference between these two, and I give an analogy of waking up early, which, let's be honest, this hasn't been me for a long time. But I like to think about how the night before I wake up, I'm thinking about my highest human potential. My higher brain, my CEO brain, is engaged because it's thinking about what do I need to do to reach my highest human potential. It's thinking about the key things like I'm going to wake up early, I'm going to journal, I'm going to go for a run, I'm going to drink some tea. It's going to be amazing. Think of all these great things I'm going to do in the morning, and I'm going to have the best day ever. It's thinking about the future, and it's planning for how I can achieve my highest human potential. And then let's imagine that 5 a.m. hits and the alarm clock goes off. Now it's my employee brain that's engaged. And this is the brain that's scanning for risk. It's trying to keep me alive. And it's like, 5 a.m.? Yeah, right. We're not waking up this early. No way. Suddenly, we're activating the part of the brain that is just focused on the present. It's focused on risk. It's focused on how to keep me alive. And all those great ideas that I made the night before of what I was going to do, they all go out the window. Hopefully this resonates with you and you can see the difference between this forward thinking, best ideas version of our brain, and then this present thinking, how do I stay alive? How do I avoid risk version of our brains? The problem that I see with most sellers is they don't realize that they have these two different modes in their brain. They're stuck in employee mode all the time, and it's keeping them spinning their wheels. Most sellers barely access their CEO brain during their workday, and this is something that is going to not only increase your productivity, it's going to improve the results that you're getting in your workday. Okay, let's move to point number 2. Be sure you stick around for point number 3 because that's where everything comes into play and you're going to really understand how to implement all of this. So point number 2, your CEO brain hardly gets used during the day. And that's because your calendar is probably packed. Your calendar's packed, you have all these tasks, you feel like a hamster running in a hamster wheel, super busy, but not necessarily getting anywhere. When you're in reaction mode, your CEO brain cannot be accessed. But what I find is that when people do access their CEO brain during the day, or at least once a week when they're doing their planning, they get the work done so much more quickly. You have a lot more time to be proactive and be thinking about your day and planning it, and a lot less time being reactive, stuck in that hamster wheel. Okay, let's get to the good part. When you do use your CEO brain, it makes the employee side so much easier. So here's point number 3. Let's talk about how and when to use your CEO brain to make your workday easier for the employee. So you may have managed people before, maybe you haven't managed people before, but when you are a manager, you're thinking about your employees. You're thinking about what are their particular strengths, what are their weaknesses, what are their interests, what do they like to do, what do they not like to do? How can I position these people in a better place to make them more productive, to make them more successful, and help our team reach our goals? This is such a helpful exercise to go through with yourself as well. You've worked with yourself for a long time now, probably longer than anybody else that you've worked with. So you know a lot about yourself. And where we all go wrong is we have all these shoulds of I should behave a certain way, I should be performing a certain way, and we're not taking into account how we actually do work. So I want you to set aside some time to get into your CEO brain, set aside some time to plan, set aside some time to think about yourself and your processes. And it's really helpful to do this in a very weird way. Just totally get outside of yourself and think about yourself in the third person. I've been working with Amber for a long time. I know her quirks. I know her pitfalls. I know her weaknesses. I know where she regularly gets stuck. When you think about yourself as the CEO, you're not thinking about how can I change Amber? How can I fix her? You're instead thinking about how can I support her? I know where she typically goes wrong. I know that she starts to feel overwhelmed in her day. She starts to feel stressed out and she reaches for her phone instantly. She leans into a distraction and then 2 hours are lost. We know that about her. We know that that's a normal thing that happens and we don't need to fix it. We just need to try to work around it. So rather than Amber can never get overwhelmed, she never can lean into distractions, she can never pick up her phone, I want you to just start thinking about what are the times that cause the overwhelm? What's happening right before the overwhelm? Let's think about that. Oh, you know what? It's when she doesn't take enough breaks. She's been pushing herself too hard and she's been working too hard. I'm going to encourage her to take breaks. Again, it feels so weird to think about yourself in the third person like this, but it's so helpful. When you think about yourself as the CEO of what needs to happen, what's the vision, what are we trying to achieve here, and who do we have to do it for us? Well, we've got this flawed human, but it's the best that we've got. So how can we set up this human for success? Really think about your processes, your systems. When is my human at their best? Okay, well, let's maybe set aside that time to do our most important work. When is my human at their worst? Let's not expect them to be anything other than what they are and what they've proven to be. And let's give them something easier to do that during that time. Let's do CRM updates after lunch because we know that our human is naturally less inclined to do hard work. I want you to try this week. Set aside some specific time to step into your CEO brain. Let yourself plan for the future. Let yourself strategize. Let yourself set a vision of what you want to have happen. Giving yourself regular time. It could be once a week, it could be once a day, but giving yourself regular time to step into the CEO brain and think about what is it that we're trying to accomplish here? What are the most important things that are going to get us towards our goals? And how can I set up my employee, my flawed, beautiful human employee? How can I set up my employee for success knowing what I know about them? I hope that this was helpful for you. If you liked what you heard, make sure to hit subscribe or follow the podcast because I have so many more great episodes coming up. If this was helpful for you and you feel like there's a friend that could really use it, please don't hesitate to send it along. And I would love to know, which brain are you in right now? CEO mode? Employee mode? Feel free to come follow me on LinkedIn. I'm linkedin.com/in/Amber Deibert. You can get the link in the show notes. Send me a DM, drop it in the comments of this video. I would love to hear from you. And I'll see you next week.